Hey everyone, it's Alec Crawford and Frank Fitzgerald. We're the founders of Artificial Intelligence Risk Inc. And today we're going to talk to you about DeepSeek. So first of all, Frank, why is DeepSeek grabbing all the headlines?
Yeah, well, we see this entire weekend has just been filled with things out of Google News and everywhere else talking about DeepSeek is overtaken OpenAI out of nowhere, at a fraction of the cost. And there are some really interesting things here that they've actually accomplished, from their ability to train something on a lower level chip due to the Chinese restrictions on chips being exported from the United States and Taiwan to China. And they've actually created a new way of looking at training models that has been much more efficient in its utilization of energy costs on lower level chips. And also being able to run it at a better memory management when you're running it live. And these are the real revolutionary things that are coming out of it. Now, whether or not we're going to use these models and recommend them to clients is a completely different story. But $5 million is very little to actually train an entire AI model that's competing with the zero one model from ChatGPT.
Yeah, well, look, the headline number is $5 million, but they bought $140 million of chips from Nvidia. So clearly that's not
Yeah.
the whole story. They got to pay for maybe that was the electric bill or something, but they're spending a lot more money than that. And what are some of the dangers of adopting new models like that?
Well, I mean, obviously, in that $5 million, we're talking electricity costs, but there's also some things that have been skipped massively inside the building of this model. There's reports of prompt injection attacks and the ability to, find things that you shouldn't allow a model to tell people, like how to create napalm or nuclear weapons that they've been manipulating these slightly to do. I thought it was also interesting that you can't get them to talk about the Tiananmen Square system at all as well of what happened in China. So there are definitely biasness and restrictions that are laid out, but maybe not the most important ones when it comes to the safety of an AI model. So there's a lot of changes in that. There's also been some things, this is a relatively new company. So things like function calling in their documentation is talking about how you're unable to actually have a reliable function call that actually kicks off. And there's a lot of things that they haven't actually laid out, similar to what Gemini and OpenAI have actually been able to accomplish within their systems. So, just from a compliance perspective and your ability to run it, it's definitely scary. And I wouldn't recommend it to any corporate client at this point. It's more for people to play around with on the internet.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. And look, also, they stood on the shoulders of giants, right? The whole concept of mixture of experts was something that, OpenAI AI came up with years ago and now has
Exactly.
been, adopted by a lot of model makers, including DeepSeek. Absolutely. So talk to our audience about how to select a model, right? Like how do you do that and how do you compare different models to figure out what you want to use?
Well, we get this question quite a bit with various systems that kind of come out in the industry, and we're seeing a new model that's popping up every other week. And there's a lot of reliance on established infrastructure that people have. So maybe the gating systems within these models, their ability to accomplish specific tasks. But if we look at this specific model and some of the techniques that they're utilizing, similar to what they use with OpenAI and their zero one model, is we're really beginning to separate the functionalities of an AI into different brains or different portions of a brain, and allowing the frontal cortex to determine, hey, this is a math problem, go to this side of the brain. This is a reading problem, let's go to this side of the brain. And in doing so, we're starting to see the culmination of multiple models generating into one thing. Now, we at Artificial Intelligence Risk, we take a deep look at these models, integrate them within our system, look at the APIs, the functionalities, the ability to turn on and off not only their gating systems, but our gating systems as well. And one of the nice things about kind of centralizing that feed in the system is really being able to have a standardized gating system that comes through in a specific format. Because we know that there's a lot of rogue IT out there that just downloaded off of Hugging Face the new DeepSeek model and are playing with it in Python in corporations across the country. And whether you like to think that that's not happening or not, I guarantee you on Monday that happened thousands and thousands of times in corporate America. And one of the things that you really need to do within your company is restrict that down. And it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. Well, if you want to learn more about that, go to aicrisk.com and check out AirGPT, the main platform, enterprise platform for AI, focused on regulated industries like banks and healthcare. And we look forward to talking to you and giving you a free demo. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Ken.